Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Attaining the Second Cognition. I'm Endall Beall. The topic of this discussion is stepping into the abyss. I'm going to do my best to explain this to where you guys can understand it. We live in a world where we expect everything to be ordered. We feel that there is an answer for everything and that we can find the answer for everything if we dig deep enough and look hard enough and try and root it out. Part of this ordering process is embedded in our minds through a process of cognitive compartmentalization. We sort and classify things into certain compartments in our mind. When we start on this path, we look for new information. And usually what appeals to us is what has mass appeal, thinking that, well, if a bunch of other people believe this, there must be something to it. This is natural herd thinking. Just because a lot of people believe something doesn't necessarily mean that it's valid or true. But this is one of the major factors in how we set up our cognitive fences, where we draw our cognitive red lines as to what we accept and what we don't. The more widely a concept is embraced by large groups of people, the more palatable it becomes to our own way of thinking. Presuming that, well, if all these other people have this, they can't all be wrong. That's not necessarily a safe cognitive form of reason or logic, but that is how the human mind functions in the first cognition world. No one wants to feel that they are outside. Herd reinforcement helps solidify minds with their own compartmentalized thinking. So we look at the information we run across and we sort it and we categorize it and we stick it into our compartments in our mind, and then we analyze these things from a compartmentalized standpoint. What this does is it fragments our thinking. But sooner or later, anyone on this path is going to run out of information that's present in the first cognition of the world to sort and categorize anymore. And when you've looked around here and there and everywhere and you just can't find any more answers, you find yourself up against a cognitive red line. So you may go back and research the material over and over again, looking for that needle in a haystack. But sooner or later, you hit that red line. And that red line is indicative of the fact that you've reached the end of the road. There is no more pavement. The only way forward is to step into the unknown, to step into the abyss, so to speak. Now, Nietzsche wrote of the abyss that it is a hard going and falling back and struggling, fraught with fear, and only those who have the greatest stamina can cross that abyss and step onto the other side. The fear of the unknown is what keeps us locked into our comfortable mindsets and compartmentalized thinking. Through our compartmentalization, we have all reached conclusions on how we think things ought to be. So we keep looking for information that reinforces our compartmentalized thinking, and it just reinforces the compartmentalization. It makes the cognitive boxes more rigid. When we find something that is unacceptable, we just reject it. But when you've milked all the information out of the first cognition world, and the pavement on the road runs out, there's nothing left but to step into the abyss, which is the unknown. And people fear the unknown because it disrupts their concept of their ordered world, to where everything is classified and sorted and there is an answer for everything. To step into the unknown is a pretty frightening affair, because our cognitive world of order gets challenged. We find ourselves in a no man's land, or at least a land where very few have walked. So when we face this abyss of the unknown, we get frightened, and we step back from that abyss, and we stay locked in our safe, comfortable, cognitive backyard, all fenced to where everything has an answer, or at least if it doesn't have an answer, we can discount it. So somewhere along this path, sooner or later, you're going to run across that red line that leads you to the abyss, where the first cognition pavement runs out, and you're just going to have to step off into the unknown. And if you don't have the courage to face it, that's where your journey is going to stop. Everything is not ordered and laid out with a specific answer like the first cognition world makes us all believe. Some things there are no answers to. And within our ordered cognitive system, we don't like the fact that there might not be an answer to something, that something can be totally unknown, and yet we have to accept that as an unknown. We want answers for everything. So when we face that realm to where there's not always an answer for everything, it scares the daylights out of us. So we cringe and we go back and we stay within the fences of our cognitive comfortability. The Soika path is not about comfortability. It is about creating from a standpoint of the unknown. Nothing that was created was known before it was created. Somebody had to imagine it. Somebody had to step into it and step away from the boundaries of the fence and say, well, this doesn't exist, but I'm going to make it exist by creating it. We've all become too complacent to let others do the work for us. So if you want that complacent world where others do everything for you and provide you your answers, when the road runs out and there's no more pavement and all that's facing you is the abyss, and you are unwilling to step into the abyss, then the only thing you can do is go back. Because the only way out is stepping into the unknown. And you have to find the courage to do that. I just wanted to share this with folks because we're getting to the point in our informational presentations that we've pretty much led up to that abyss. A lot of people are very uncomfortable with what we present because it challenges their worldview. A lot of people don't want to accept what we present because it takes them to the end of that road. And the only place they have left to go is into the abyss. And a lot of people don't want to do it. So they deny, they rationalize, they come up with all sorts of excuses not to accept what we present, which is fine. I mean, that's your choice. But by doing so, you're going to stay right where you are, in your comfortable little world, in your compartmentalized thinking where everything supposedly has an answer, and your life is orderly and spelled out. If that's what you want, then that's the reality you'll have. But if you want more, you're going to have to step into the abyss. You're going to have to embrace the unknown and the realm of possibilities that don't yet exist, or that exist beyond the compartmentalized world and the cognitive comfort zone of your known reality. So for all of you that are doing the work, stay the course and don't give up on yourselves.